All right, we got Baldy here joining us on the River Islands guest lines. We love having Baldy on. Good morning to you all. Guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands, River Islands in Lathrop? And don't forget, over the next 20 minutes, we're qualifying 2 people to have breakfast with the roast. When you hear this sounder, go ahead and give us a call at 415-523-4652. We'll give away 2 spots, one in 9 minutes and one in 19 minutes. That'll happen on the roast. Baldy, good morning, man. I'm trying to get this fan base going. It's doom and gloom around these parts, man. Guys are hitting. Oklahoma drills are happening. Maybe not today, Baldy. You know what I mean? But, man, we got a couple preseason games. I got Baldy's breakdown talking about Dominic Purdy, this rookie from Kansas. I'm ready to roll. I got to get my Shasky ready to roll here. They're caught up in the doldrums and Ayuk and Trent. Look, they're going to be here. To hell, if they're not here, then let's ride without them, Baldy. Come on.
Bonte, look, I mean, you got your Pink Floyd shirt on. That's all I know. I mean, last night was a super blue moon, the brightest moon of the entire year. I mean, put some moonshine on this league right now. You came prepared, Bonte. I love it.
Dude, I black on. It's go time. I'm going to New York City next week. I'm going to chill at the U.S. Open for a day. Maybe I'll catch up with you on the East Coast. I may have some special friends with me, Baldy. We go out there and you'll probably sneak in anyway, so it's all good.
But I don't pay for the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I know you don't pay for anything, Baldy, because you're Brian Baldinger. You're the modern-day Madden. But I got the New York Jets getting ready to roll.
Yeah.
I got to think about Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, Robert Saleh wants revenge. It is go time, man. We got to get the vibes right around here, Baldy.
Well, I don't know I don't know why they wouldn't have vibes. I mean, I'm not out there. I'll be out there on Thursday morning. I guess I'm going to miss you. Me and Joe are going to hold down the fort. But I'm pretty psyched about it.
No, Baldy, I'll be here.
Okay.
I'll be here. I'm not missing that.
All right. No, I'm pretty psyched to come into the studio, man. And if there's anybody that is, dragging a little bit right now, mid-August, we'll be there to pick them up.
All right, let's go.
Baldy, what did you make of just what happened this week with the 49ers? They had Aaron Banks not playing because of the finger injury. Trent obviously holding out. None of the normal weapons, not even the 2s. It was like the 3s and the 4s of the weapons out there. A running back who's probably not going to make the team. And then your starting quarterback in Brock Purdy, who is extremely important to the franchise, just not only for this year, but long term. What was your read on him going out there and playing the 10, 11 snaps?
I don't know. I mean, if you're going to play with Trent Taylor and Braden Willis and, Schrader and these guys, like, is that who you want your quarterback to be with? Like, I know you want to kind of get them, just get them through into the rhythm of everything, but at least give them an option to throw it to. I'm watching these guys step out of bounds on routes. I'm watching guys, fall on their faces. I mean, I'm watching a left tackle give up, a big hit to Brock. So, I mean, I don't know. If you're going to sit everybody, and I mean everybody, why not sit your quarterback also? I mean, that would be my take with it.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense watching Jalen Moore out there and Brock Purdy right around. I was at the game, Baldy. Nobody was open. I'm sure you watched the film. Nobody can uncover, but there were some bright spots on Sunday. Jacob Cowing, this rookie out of Arizona, made a name for himself. Now, Danny Gray's been in the program for a long time. I'm not sure how long he's going to be part of this program. Trent Taylor, you just mentioned. We've seen it before. It is what it is with him, right? But Jacob Cowing gives the Niners something a little different, a different dimension, a little wiggle. This number 83 kid out of Arizona caught over 90 balls last year in the Pac-12. What did you think of Jacob Cowing on Sunday, Baldy?
Yeah, a couple nice catches. I mean, what can you say? I mean, he showed promise. Route running, I mean, some of the things that you're looking for, but he looked like he belonged. I mean, it's a very small sample size, but, he was one of the rookies that I think popped a little bit. I had a few more guys that looked like they popped a lot to me in the rookie class, but, including Renardo and Dominic and whatnot. But I thought, he got a chance to get out there and kind of show what he could do. That's about as far as I'm going to say right now.
Well, let's get into Dominic Purdy because right guard was an issue last year for the Niners. They were rotating the position. We know what happened in the Super Bowl. Brandon Ayuk standing in the end zone. It feels like they got themselves a steal here with this third rounder.
I agree. You got to find starters in the third and fourth round on your offensive line, Joe. And he played over 40 snaps the other day. And, a lot of them were against first team, New Orleans Saints. I mean, Brian Breezy's a first-round pick. There's 2 games now. I haven't really seen a bad play. Like, the guy, he knows how to cover people up. His feet move. He's got good length. He's got great size. and he's got good power. And he takes good angles, in the run game. You got to block the second level if you're going to have a successful rushing attack or running play, and he can do that. I can't find a bad play. Maybe on some traps he could take better angles. You can kind of declare whether they're trapping or logging the outside guy. But regardless, I mean, he looks like he belongs. He handles the stunts inside well. He covers guys up. I love his size and I love his power and just the consistency that I've seen from him. I don't know what's going on with Aaron Banks right now, injury-wise. I don't follow all that stuff. I know they got to upgrade the right guard position. I think he upgrades it right now.
Yeah, I think he's a day one starter, Baldy. As we're talking to Brian Baldinger here on the River Islands guest line, he's taken all the starter reps over the last couple of weeks in training camp. I think it's his job to lose. I would not be surprised if he's starting week one against the New York Jets. But what do you think about this young man out of Florida State, Renardo Green, cornerback? He's starting to make some waves out here, and they're deep in this room with Deommodore Lenoir, Tarvarius Ward. You got Rocky Sin. You got Isaac Gidham coming over from the New Orleans Saints. What about Renardo Green, Baldy? Break him down.
Well, I mean, he's going up against an elite player the other day in Chris Olave, going up against Derek Carr. He's going up there, up against their number one offense. He made a great play on third down, defended a pass on the sideline. I mean, exactly what you want to see. It's one-on-one coverage. It's their best receiver against your rookie corner, and he wins. Now, Olave beat him on a dig route over the middle on a little post-dig combination, but he was right there. I mean, he was where he's supposed to be. He's in his upfield shoulder. He tackles the catch. He made a tackle coming off the receiver when the back broke. I think it was Williams that broke one, and he made the tackle to save it from going further. His foot speed, his break on the ball, all that stuff showed up the other day. I mean, you saw the whole sideline explode on that 3rd and 7 play where he made the play on Olave. I saw guys jumping off the sideline to go congratulate the kid. So you could tell that, they're behind him, they're watching. I'm sure he's doing some of those things in practice right now as well. You'd love to see him getting work against a guy like Brandon Ayuk, which could only sharpen his skills. But I thought he showed up big the other day.
Baldy, this team has run a very specific defense for the last 5-6 years. They did the wide 9, and it was always 4 linemen with their hand in the dirt at some point, right? Crouched down, if you will. And this last week and the week prior, I saw 3 down linemen and then the 4th guy standing up. I don't know if it was a linebacker. Sometimes they had an edge rusher, like a D end or whatever. Is that the Sorensen effect? Is that the Brandon Staley influence? Did you notice that as well? Because that surprised me given how specific this defense has been the last 5-6 years.
Oh, it's changing, Joe. It's a good observation. I mean, I've talked to Nick about what he's going to do. He's going to stand up this year. He's going to drop. They're going to have a lot more ways to get to the quarterback, whether it's zone pressures, more different types of blitzes. I mean, they've been largely a 4-man front forever since Kyle's been there. And, their idea of a blitz was to bring Fred Taylor and bring a 5th rusher or bring the slot defender. Well, I mean, if you watch the Super Bowl, and I know we have, you probably watched it 5 or 6 times now, look at what Spags is doing. You've got to find different ways to get to the quarterback quickly with free hitters. And I think you're going to see some of that from Nick. It could be some, I'm sure Brandon Staley's in these rooms and he's not being quiet. I'm sure he's, showing some of the things he did to win a Super Bowl a few years ago. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that. I think you're going to see a lot more versatility than what you're used to and accustomed to seeing.
What can we expect from Nick Bosa dropping back in coverage if he does drop back in coverage? Is he capable?
I don't know how much he's going to drop, but I think, he has always been a hand-in-the-ground pass rusher. And, that's good, but there's so much pre-snap motion in this business right now. There's so many things going on if you're playing Kansas City, if you're playing some of these teams, that I don't know if Nick is in that stance where he's as low as the, your roadside curb. I don't know that you can see all that stuff. And I think the more that you can see, I think, I'm talking to Von Miller and Max Crosby about some of the stuff, the more you can see, the more you can kind of anticipate what's coming. And so I think you'll see Nick, as good as he is coming off the edge, that low that he is, I think you're going to see him rushing, standing up, in a 2-point stance, which we're unaccustomed to seeing. And I think you will see him dropping a little bit. And, I don't know how often. I wouldn't want to drop Nick too often.
Right.
I know if I was the offensive tackle, I'd be breathing a sigh of relief if he's dropping. But I think, look, if you get somebody free to the quarterback coming from the other side, then it's a good changeup.
Yeah, you don't want to post.
Oh, we got to qualify somebody. So we get Baldy Thursday, and it's September the 6th. A lucky listener will get to have breakfast with Shasky and I September the 6th, that Friday. So go ahead and call the contest line, 415-523-4652. 415-523-4652. Be caller number 10. Caller number 10. We'll get to have some Jack's breakfast with the morning roast.
I like it. Yeah, you don't want to, exclusively post up Steph Curry, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the analogy I would use regarding dropping Bosa into coverage. It does feel, though, like this team, there's a seismic shift going on in terms of strength of that defense. I feel like for the first time in a long time, the strength is maybe the back end, the corners, the safeties. I'm a little weary about this front when it comes to the defensive line. What are you seeing from some of these other guys who are going to play alongside Bosa? I know Floyd didn't play, and obviously, Hargrave didn't have the greatest year last year. Is there anybody that's showcasing themselves that stands out, good or bad, from the preseason tape?
I mean, they started their second-team defensive line last week, and nobody got off a block.
Oh, my gosh.
You see much, including, your Gross Matos and Elliott, and Givens always going to give you everything he's got. I didn't see anything from Robert Beal. I think what you're going to see, what you saw in preseason the other day was, a lot of press man coverage, challenging these receivers, challenging these routes. I think they've got the corners to do it. I would agree. Yeah, Tig showed up as he usually does. It'd be great to get Hufanga back. They lost Jimmy Ward. He's doing his thing down in Houston now. Just got himself an extension. So those are big shoes to fill. But I think. They drafted his replacement in Tig, and so he showed up the other day. But I believe that maybe the strength for the first time might be the back end. Now, I don't want to, say that, when you put Floyd and you put Bosa and Hargrave out there, Malik Collins, that can be an elite defensive front. You want to see a lot more from the backups than what you've seen. You don't want to see Nick having to play 85, 88% of the snaps through the course of a season if you can get away with it.
That was my big takeaway from the game, being there Sunday, Baldy, was that the depth on the defensive line could be a problem. John Lynch may have to work the phones like he did last year when he brought in Randy Gregory and Chase Young. Just the depth on the defensive line, they're getting pushed off the ball, no outside containment. It was rough watching it, but you brought up the back end here. And one guy who is making waves out here is the Nigerian missile, Malik Mustafa. He seems like a Baldy type of guy. Every time you look up, he's popping somebody. Let us know what you saw from the guy at Wake Forest who's now making waves out here on the West Coast, Baldy.
Well, the hits are the hits. You see him, the guys go backwards when he lays the wood to him. It's going to come down to how he handles just the passing game right now. I have no question that he can hit. They love playing their 8-man fronts. Especially New Orleans was in a 2-back set the other day. So there's a lot of 8-man front, single high safety. And that's where he's going to be able to flourish if he's down there. The way we've seen Hufanga down there, he's basically another linebacker. Mm-hmm. And, he's a downhill player. He pops, when he hits people. But, those kind of players now, you got to show that they can cover too. When teams spread you out, it's third down. Can you stay on the field? Can you cover tight ends? Can you cover slot receivers? All the things that, Jimmy had done for a number of years there. You've got to show that versatility, and that is kind of yet to be seen. But I don't think there's any question that when he hits you, the play ends.
Yeah. I'm watching not just the Niner game, but just around the league, right? And I feel like preseason isn't the end-all, be-all, because we obviously know that there's practice, these what are they called? Organized scrimmages, and then you got practice and all that stuff. So there's a lot that gets baked into everything. But I look at these preseason games, and I would love your input on this. Do you look completely overwhelmed? I'm watching Hainer, the kid from Fresno State. He just looks really overwhelmed. But then I'm looking around the league. I'm like, wow, Bo Nix looks pretty solid, Penix looks pretty solid in the game he played prior. Jaden Daniels looks pretty solid. Caleb, in the game that you were broadcasting the other day as I was texting you, he looks pretty damn solid. So as a guy that played in the league, what are you looking for in these preseason games in terms of, can a guy play or not? What's the indicators?
Well, if you look at, just say Bo Nix the other night, you could just tell that Sean Payton is game planning heavily to make it not easy. It's not easy, but to really simplify it for him as much as possible. It's a classic case. Half his plays and completions are off play action, run action. Look, he's moved the team. The team's responded, but it's also been some excellent game planning, whether it's play action stick routes, play action movement, toss, hard toss action, getting the defense to flow, come back the other way. I mean, Sean Payton is doing a remarkable. I mean, he's just a great play caller, and he's a great play designer, and it's helped his young quarterback. I think Cliff's done a good job with Jaden Daniels on some of the things that he has done. And so I think the quarterbacks, I think that, Shane Waldron has done a good job, although I would say Caleb did a lot of what Caleb is capable of doing, where he's created a lot of that offense by his rare ability to move and what he's able to
Baldy,
to
the
see.
throw to Rome out of bounds might have been the best throw.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a classic case of extending the play, eyes up down the field. There's nothing there, but yet he extends the play a little Steph Curry, like stutter and go to freeze the defensive end, then to make the throw. And, all Rome's got to do is keep those feet and bounce another touchdown. I mean, the guy's a great freelancer. Some of the things, a lot of detractors said he can't do in the NFL. Well, he's going to do it. Now, we got to see, can he stay healthy? Can he avoid the turnovers? Some of the things happen. They happen to Josh Allen when he tries to extend some of those plays. We'll see, with the great athletes that he's going up against, if he could continue to do that at the, regular season right now.
Talking football with Brian Baldinger here on the River Islands guest line. Looking back at the Niners situation at the quarterback spot, the backup job, because we know Purdy is the guy, and he's going to be the guy, and he had a spectacular season. But the backup, Brendan Allen and Joshua Dobbs. And Dobbs made a lot of people go crazy Sunday at Levi's with some of the runs there. Who do you think is more capable to run this system as the backup quarterback? Is it Brendan Allen or is it Joshua Dobbs? Because Baldy, at times, I thought Dobbs, although he looked great running around, I thought, boy, he's bailing from the pocket a little too quickly, man. He's eyes downfield, boom, rush comes in, and he's already scrambling. I'm not sure Shanahan is a big fan of that.
Well, I don't think he would be either. But if, like there's a lot of smart people in this world, and then there's Joshua Dobbs. Like, this guy's intelligence level is off the charts. Like, I would love to see him in a Kyle Shanahan, skull session, going through plays, designs. I mean, you saw it last year when he gets traded on a Tuesday and he starts on Sunday,
right? And
what Kevin O'Connell's able to do in his headset.
And he wins.
The guy processes information, any information. You want to talk about, space technology. Like, I don't care what the subject is. This guy has got a rare mind. Now, you look, running around is great. It's not what the offense is designed to do. But I do think he's very, very smart, and I think he's meant to be in this league for a long time. He's got a great career whenever it does end, but I think he's going to really enjoy playing and learning this system. And I'd be surprised if he doesn't become the backup.
Wow. Doesn't he have kind of like and I know we're talking about backups here, but it is important. But like when I'm watching him, there's a little bit of a Garcia feel to him where he's frenetic, almost like that's kind of his like off speed. And I don't know, he's just he's a fun player. And I'm with Bonte on the fact that there are times where he does just bail on a play that I think I'd like to see him climb the pocket.
Throws a nice ball. Throws a nice ball,
yeah,
though.
But I mean, some of these receivers like Trent Taylor catch the ball in the end zone. Danny Gray, the ball was underthrown on the one over the middle with the blitz came in, and I'd like to see Dobbs step into it. Danny Gray, catch the ball. These receivers that are behind Ayuk and Debo on the depth chart, yuck for the Niners. Like, I'm not loving the separation or the ball skills.
But, I mean, honestly, Joe, I think the reason why this deal hasn't gotten done is because they know they need a starting receiver in return. Like, I think everybody can get the terms worked out, and the compensation is pretty much set. But, what receiver can the 49ers get in return that can upgrade or at least come close to what Ayuk does? I mean, I don't know if anybody is going to throw anybody like that out there. But, I mean, at least somebody better than what we just saw. Because they don't look like they're any kind of the answer to this offense. Maybe Ronnie Bell's got a spot, we know Jennings does because of his size, and he's a dependable guy, and he's hard not to like and hard not to miss. But, I mean, that's when you start looking at this depth chart of receivers right now, there's not a lot that gets you excited at this point.
No, Danny Gray, Trent Taylor. It's
I like Tate Martin, but he's not.
And we want to get excited about Ricky Pearsall. How much, for a rookie receiver not finishing camp, it's a disaster right now for Ricky Pearsall.
It's a disaster. I don't care what position you are as a rookie. You're going to be swimming as it is, even if you're practicing every day, your head's going to be swimming. Because just the installation, the volume of offense, all of the checks, all the things you got to know to play fast. Like, you got to be on the field to do it. And if you're going through walkthroughs, sitting in meetings, you're not getting it. You're just not. You're not having any chance to make mistakes, to work on your craft. Like, I'm not saying the year is dead because it's a long season, but the idea that he could come in and contribute right now against the Jets, against an elite secondary, even if he does get healthy between now and then, I would say that it's, and I don't want to say that he can't do it. I think it's going to be very difficult to do.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. Last spot. We'll get the names on the other side here. Caller number 10 right now, 415-523-4652, 415-523-4652. And you can have breakfast with the Roast Friday, September the 6th, as we kick off football season. Of course, the Niners open up on Monday Night Football against the New York Jets.
Baldy, before you get out, you're around all these players, and I know the modern athlete is different. Pete Rose has one of my favorite. I do a lot of youth coaching, so it's nowhere near the professional level. But Pete Rose has a saying, and I love this one because you can't coach everyone the same. Some people you pat on the back, some people you kick in the butt, and some people you don't talk to at all. And the point is that you can't coach everyone the same. What was your take on Tua talking about Brian Flores and their relationship, quarterback and head coach?
I mean, it was a stark contrast. One guy is pumping him up and saying that he's the best and most accurate quarterback in this league, and we can't run the system without you. And the other guy is saying you're trash. Like, I mean, I think he was as honest and direct as possible. Now, I'm not here to trash Brian Flores, but your quarterback, you can say all those things, but you also, because Bill Parcells did some of that to Phil Simms, but you also better love him up as well. Yep. You could say certain things to players, all right, and you can work that angle of it to drive them, to make them better, to make them work, whatever it is. But you better love them up at the same time, and that's not just modern day players. I mean, that's just coaching in general. Like, there's got to be a push and a pull to it. It was not. If Brian's looking to get an endorsement to become a head coach, he's doing a great job as a defensive coordinator right now. But if he's looking for an endorsement to become another head coach and get a second crack at it, that's not what you want to hear.
No.
And anybody that knows Tua is not doing any of that to be inflammatory, to speak hyperbole. Like, Tua is just a straight shooter. Yep. That's who he is. So that was not very endearing to Brian.
No, I'm with you there. I thought the same thing. Tua's not going to go out of his way just to trash somebody. He's a very honest young man, Tua Tagovailoa. So that's not it here. Baldy, give me something on the New York Jets, man. Offensively, where are they at right now? I saw Mike Williams is coming back to practice. I'm going to start getting my mindset on the New York Jets. I need like 3 weeks of prep on them. I really do, man. I don't want this game so bad because I think they're going to come in flying high with Aaron Rodgers or Robert Saleh, and that's a stacked roster. They got a lot of talented players here. What are some of their weaknesses? What are some of their strengths you've seen so far from the New York Jets in the preseason?
Well, I think Breece Hall could lead the league in rushing. He's just that good.
Wow.
And last year at this time, he wasn't even in pads. He wasn't taking a hit. He wasn't doing anything. And about week 6, week 7 last year, like, he started popping behind a broken offensive line. This guy is a true home run hitter. Like, he's rare. And he catches the ball, and he's going to get a lot of touches. Garrett Wilson, he's getting 1,000 yards from quarterbacks that threw a combined in 17 games, 11 touchdown passes last year. Like, Aaron is going to get protected. And he's just different. Aaron's just different. And it's not even just being smart. He just understands every nuance of the game. He's gonna find your weakness. He's gonna prey on your weakness. He's gonna get the right play in there. If this defense gets a chance to play with the lead, and they can turn some angry dogs up front loose, they're going to be a very, very good football team, and they're going to be hard to beat.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Touchdown. That is an incredible stat.
That is incredible. They were awful at the quarterback spot. We'll talk more about that Thursday, Baldy, when you're live in studio for 4 hours. We're going to have some fun, Baldy. We're going to crank this thing up, man. My Niner fans right here, they're acting like it's a funeral.
Just get me a big old steak, all right? Just get me a steak. I'm going to gnaw on it and a bone. For the 4 hours, I'm good to go.
All right, big old ribeye, 15 ounces.
Yeah, big ribeye, bone-in ribeye.
6 in the morning, huh?
Yeah, I start early.
All right,
I
let's
just
do
need
it.
my red meat. I'm good to go.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
We'll reach out to
Let's
some
do that.
people we know.
All right, Baldy.
guys.
Good stuff,
Look at this.
Baldy.
See you on Thursday.
Take care, guys.
Brian Baldinger here on the River Islands guest line, breaking down the 49ers roster, looking around the league as well. Tua on Brian Flores, the New York Jets. We'll see them soon enough. But in the meantime, let's get to the injury report.